please come back to order. At this moment, I would like for everyone to stand, if possible, while Chris is going to lead us in the flag salute. But before he does that, I would like to honor the passing and life of Rosie Heffley, who was a great servant to the community, who passed away since our last meeting. So,
thank you, Rosie. I'd like to ask everyone to remove your hats if you're wearing one and to put your hand over your heart and recite the Pledge of Allegiance after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, under God, with liberty and justice for all.
thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. And believe me, Rosie will be missed. She was one that we could always count on, and it was amazing. I mean, I know she was hurting, and yet she still ran the election committee and put on the fair, and just always had a smile on her face and always had a roughness in her voice, which was appreciated. She was always predictable, which was predictable and accountable, which was awesome. So,
Don. I just wanted to let you know I got information from her son on Rosie's services. So
yeah.
It's scheduled, her funeral is scheduled for Thursday, January 16th at 2:00 at Eternal Valley in Newhall. The service will be at the chapel named the Monarch, which is up the hill and to the left as you enter on Sierra Highway. Graveside service will be at 3:00. All of her friends are welcome to attend. The chapel holds 150 people, so there will be plenty of room.
Perfect.
So,
wonderful.
Mary?
Yes.
I got a note, Trish told me that he didn't want that at 2, that it was just going to be at 3. So there is some confusion there. So we have to find out exactly what they want.
Okay.
At first I was told 2:00, and then she said something that he didn't want that, and it would just be at the gravesite at 3. So we need to find out what exactly is going on.
Yep.
Okay, I will find out, and then I will post it on our Woodall's Town Council Facebook page.
Great.
Thank you.
Great. Wonderful. We are having our meeting tonight virtually, and we'd like to thank Cindy Grimes, who's our community volunteer. She's been that for over a year now, and she handles the traffic incoming and outgoing. And if anybody would like to record the meeting, push the record button, and I believe they can just either contact Cindy directly or request anything they want in the chat box. So we appreciate her efforts. And other than that, I think at this point, we're going to jump right into our agency reports with who's here. First up, we have Los Angeles County Sheriff Resident Deputy Martinez. You know, he's here.
Hey, Don.
Hey, what's up?
I am down at the Eaton fire right now. I've been here since 5 this morning.
Okay.
So we're still going up and on all that stuff. It's pretty crazy. This is not your typical fire for sure, because we're used to being in the mountains. It's weird going like streets and like major commercial areas, and it's all concrete, but yet everything's on fire. I don't ask me what's going on. But going back to the stats, so this is, I'm sure you guys heard that our computer system failed us in the beginning of the year. It's back up and running. So it was down for a few days. So we have the stats all year through December 15th. And then the next meeting, I'll have the last 15 days. But so
Okay.
Keep in mind, these numbers are just missing that last 15-day chunk of the year. So
Okay.
we had 5 Part 1 crimes for the year, and 22 property crimes, which is a 37% reduction in Part 1 crimes from last year, and a 52% reduction in property crimes from the previous year, for an overall crime rate of 50% reduction from last year. So
Great.
we're doing good. We did good.
Yeah, that's a good report.
Our response times went from 158 minutes, and this is like an average total from all like our emergence and everything, to 128. So that's a good improvement in the county area. And in comparison to the station, their overall crime rate went up 15% from last year. So the unincorporated county areas did better than the actual city. And speaking about all the fires that we all are aware of, it's a good time to just remind everybody, have those documents that you need and those precious things you want to keep, and be ready to go, and listen to the advisements. The greatest thing that we have, these like magical phones in our, everyone has one of these things that are constantly giving us warnings and stuff. So if you're in an evacuation zone and you don't happen to hear a sheriff come down on your street and saying, hey, there's evacuation, you're going to get a push notification, just like the old days of the callbacks on your landline, telling you, hey, it's time to evacuate, or this is a warning. And Watch Duty is a great free app that you can download, and it breaks down all the zones, and that information is coming directly from fire. So it's actually really accurate as far as like what areas are and what type of evacuation orders and whatnot. Just know that if you do evacuate, we won't let you back in. So that's the main thing. Once it's under, you can choose to stay, and that's your choice. But once you leave, we won't let you back into an evacuated area. So, you got anything for me? John, you got anything for me?
It doesn't look like it, but we sorry that you're that far away from home, but hope you stay safe, and I hope they get everything put up now.
Yeah, thank you, Don.
Very good. Okay, next up, we have the report from the California Highway Patrol. Either Officer Allen or Officer Delgado. Do we have either one of those? I thought I saw one of them here earlier.
Yes, sir. Officer Allen's here.
Perfect. Great.
Well, I hope you guys are doing okay this evening. I do have the monthly report for December and the yearly stats. I was able to get the monthly stats out to Mary. I was pulled out of the office today, so I didn't have time to send the yearly out before I got out of there.
Right.
Let's see. If we start with the monthly stats, no fatal traffic collisions in the county area or freeway near Agua. Let's see, on unincorporated roads that are not part of a line beat, which I defined on the top of the document there. There was 2 property damage crashes, 3 injuries, and 1 hit and run. Sierra Highway had 3 injury crashes and a hit and run, misdemeanor non-injury. You go further down, there was nothing on Sand Canyon. Bouquet Canyon had 2 injury crashes, 1 hit and run crash. And then the freeway, as usual, on the northbound side, 7 crashes and 11 on the southbound side. Let's see, citations were a little bit down for this next month because I was not in the area, but we had 18 in the unincorporated area, 54 on Sierra, 2 on Soledad, and on the freeway, 71 northbound, 88 southbound. As far as arrests for the month, on unincorporated, there was a stolen vehicle recovery. Northbound 14, there was a 4 DUI arrests. And on the South 14, there was 2 DUI arrests, and then there was 1 attempted murder / ADW with a firearm. It was basically a road rage that turned into a vehicle-to-vehicle shooting in commute traffic. Also, the cousin was charged with aiding and abetting, helped pick him up from the scene and leave with him. That was actually a relative of the mayor of LA that was shot at. So they solved that within a couple of days, picked him up. and they're in county awaiting trial, which is nice that they're still being held. I love the new DA already. So for the year, what we have traffic crash wise, which you won't have on that document, it's a separate document I wasn't able to send out. For Sierra or unincorporated roads, 44 crashes. Sierra Highway had 50 in total, including 3 fatal crashes on Sierra Highway by itself. Soledad Canyon had 2 fatal crashes and 28 total. And let's see, then the freeway, the northbound 14 had 2 fatal crashes or fatalities that year, with 112 total crashes, 145 on the southbound side. Now, those are only crashes that are reported to us, obviously, and that we come and take a report. If you don't feel like waiting for a property damage crash, you're not required to. So it would be much higher than that in reality. Traffic citations, if we look for the year, unincorporated 177, Sierra Highway by itself with 425 tickets written. Which is Soledad Canyon's much slower, 23, 21 on Sand Canyon, and a little Tahanka. And then we go down to Bouquet, which is 12, and 6 total on Agua Dulce Canyon. North 14 in your area is 1,105 tickets, and then the South 14 is 1,721. So for the arrests, since they were previously reported kind of what they were, I just went with the numbers overall. Let's see, unincorporated county 47, Sierra Highway has 16 arrests in total, 9 arrests, 21 arrests for Sand Canyon, which is also considered Class 3 and Little Tahunga in our system, and 12 on Bouquet Canyon, 6 on Agua Dulce Canyon. All of those were outside of the city strip there, though. And then the freeway was 76 on northbound and 83 on the southbound 14 freeway. I don't know the reduction or the amount that it goes up for us, since most of our stuff is proactive. It's really, we're out looking for stuff and arresting people. So if it goes up or down, it's just because we're working harder, finding more stuff. But that's all I have with these stats. If anyone has any questions for me, I'm here.
Does anybody have any questions for Officer Allen? If not, we sure appreciate you taking the time to join our meeting tonight, and we appreciate the report.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next up, and I don't know I doubt if she's around, but Maria Grykamp from the Los Angeles County Fire Department. I don't think she's here.
Maria got assigned to the Palisades fire yesterday.
Oh boy.
But I guess the takeaways are the CERT graduation class that was supposed to happen yesterday has been rescheduled to next week. Chief Sprengel was keen that all the local resources would be available during the red flag warning. I think that's a very wise decision.
Yeah.
The bad news is that looking at the weather forecast, it looks like we're going to do all this again on Tuesday next week.
Yeah.
So I don't know, certainly the winds won't be as strong, but there may be another red flag warning. So it's possible, but not confirmed, that Maria may have to move that again, depending on how the weather shapes up for the first couple of days of next week.
Okay. But for right now, it's scheduled for what day?
6 p.m. on Tuesday, the 14th of January.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you much for that. Hope she stays safe. I hope they get all the fires put out. Next up, we have the library report from the Agua Dulce Acton Library. Jim Wall. Jim, I see you there.
Yeah, I'm here. How are you guys doing?
Good, good.
Good. All right, at the library, just a couple of the programs we've got coming up. Wednesday, January 15th, we're going to be pulling out the telescope. We're going to be checking out Mars. So you'll be able to see it through the telescope, and then we'll have a bunch of stuff, interactive stuff to learn about Mars and look at some maps of the landscape and everything. That is weather permitting. So, if there's clouds, we obviously can't pull out the telescope. So, but it should be fun. The other one I'm going to mention is on Tuesday, January 28th at 4 o'clock. It's a kids program using Ozobots. They're little tiny robots that you help kids learn coding. They draw lines, and based on the colors they use in the lines, it tells the little robot what procedures and motions to make. And it's really a rudimentary introduction to coding.
Oh.
So as always, all of our stuff is online, lacountylibrary.org. Just click on that events tab and say that, click the action on it'll say library, and you'll see everything we've got going on. And then apologies for the inconvenience. If it inconvenienced everyone, we were forced to close early today, about 2:30. The power got shut off, like many other people in the area. Unfortunately, we got hit with that today, so we had to close early. Tomorrow, we will be closed as part of the National Day of Mourning related to the passing of President Jimmy Carter. So we will be closed tomorrow. And then we also have a holiday coming up on January 20th. That's a Monday. That'll be Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Okay.
And that's all I've got, unless you guys have any questions for me.
Right. Does anybody have any questions for Jim? Doesn't look like
No,
it.
just stay safe.
You guys too.
Thank you, Jim. We appreciate the report. Appreciate the fact that you took the time to come visit us tonight.
Oh, of course. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you much. Next up, we have from the Department of Public Works, Josie, if she's here.
Josie sent me an email saying her power is out and she had no internet service.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll look forward to hearing from her next month. We do have the Holiday Tree Disposal Day, which I'd like to mention. That's January 11th, which is coming up this Saturday from 8 to 1 p.m. So if anybody has, they call it a holiday tree. We used to always call them Christmas trees, but it's the green tree that gets pretty brittle this time of year. Also, we have listed their household hazardous waste and e-waste collection, first and third Saturday of each month, 9 to 3 p.m. And the addresses and everything is mentioned right here on our agenda if anybody's interested. And then we got the Department of Public Works Traffic Investigations Group has initiated a study, and the counts have been ordered. The estimated time frame to complete the study is approximately 20 weeks. So that's about a half a year. And oftentimes it runs a little longer than that. So, other than that, you can get a hold of Julianne Chambers, who's actually the one doing the study. And you can, her email is listed right there on our agenda if you wish to, if you want to give her a call. Her phone number's right there also. At this time, we've got the report from the 5th District, Stephanie English. Stephanie? Fifth District, Stephanie English. I don't see Stephanie. And there's no one else here, Isabel? No. All right. Well, if they show up, we will come back to them. Who's going to give us an update on several items, plus report back from LA County staff regarding Sleepy Valley Water Company and failed adjacent septic system. Chris, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, yeah. So we had talked to the enforcement part of the State Water Board, Division of Drinking Water in Los Angeles a few months ago, followed up with them recently, and they've basically said it is in the hands of the county council who are trying to decide what they want to do. So Jack, you know what is going to happen with this. They're just going to carry on, with a broken septic, and we're going to carry on treating our water and trying to make sure that we don't kill anyone.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for that update. We appreciate that. Next up, we have the California 34th Assembly District, Assembly Member Tom Lackey. Is there anyone here representing Assembly Member Tom Lackey?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. My name is Anna Zerly. I just put my email in the chat line.
Perfect.
I am the Assemblyman's District Director. As you all may know, Carlo retired at the end of December.
Right.
So between myself and one of my other field reps, I'm just not sure which one quite yet. We will be attending the meetings.
Okay.
Right now, there's not too much to report. Assemblyman we're keeping an eye on the fire right now going on in Acton. He just started back up in Sacramento. So he is working on his bills that he is going to be presenting. Once I get all those bills and his package together, I will make sure that we report on all of the bills that he is going to be putting in. I don't know if any of you guys know that right now, we're just looking at the news, another fire started up in the Hollywood Hills. So we're just watching that right now on the news also. But Assemblyman will be back in town tomorrow. But right now I'm his eyes and ears on the fire and trying to keep up with everything and see what's going on. But like I said, I did put my name in the chat with my email. We are here for any state issues. So if anybody has any issues with, lately there's been a lot of DMV issues because they did go where paperless and everybody has to do everything over on the internet. And with that crashing a lot and a lot of people, older people actually, myself included, I'm not a computer person. I always have to ask my grandkids for help. So we are here for those type of issues. Franchise tax board, I know a lot of people have issues with that in the beginning of the month. So if you have any of those issues, you can go ahead and contact me at the office.
Great. Fantastic. Does anybody have any questions for Anna? Well, Anna, we sure want to thank you for being here tonight. And if we have any questions, we've got your contact information that was put in the chat, and we'll look you up and send you an email.
Please update us with any events or anything that's going on. Like I said, the Assemblyman is in Sacramento, but we try to keep him busy on Fridays and Saturdays when he's in town. So
great. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have California 23rd Senate District Senator Suzette Martinez Valadares. Is there anyone here giving a report on her behalf?
I wasn't able to get in contact with anyone who's taking over for her field work.
Okay.
Mary, I can send you over Jack Danielson's information.
Okay, I think Jack worked with
Senator Wilk.
Yeah. Okay. I think I've got it, but if you've got it and can send it to me, that would be great because you've got my.
So just FYI, with that office with Suzette Valadares, she is keeping the old Senator Wilk's office there in Lancaster, and so it will be the same phone number also.
Okay.
Okay. Do you know if she's keeping the?
I believe she's keeping the one in Santa Clarita.
Santa Clarita. Okay. Okay.
Perfect. Okay.
Thanks.
Sounds good. Next up, we have U.S. 27th Congressional District, George Whiteside. Is anyone here?
I don't think there's anybody here from his office, but I did hear from his scheduler, Maria, and also, I guess the scheduler is McKinley.
Yeah.
And Maria might be his district person.
Okay.
So I've been in contact with both of them. And the only thing I got that they would like to do prior to the February meeting was he requested an introductory meeting with council members.
Well.
So I know if we all meet together at the same time, it becomes a meeting.
Right.
And we need to notify that it's a meeting. So I don't know how we want to handle that, or if we just want to wait until he is able to show up to a meeting.
Yeah, I think that's that. You know, we weren't, that request was never made by Congressman Garcia that I recall.
Yeah, but it's kind of nice having him here in Agua Dulce, you know?
I know. It's right up the road.
Yeah.
So perhaps we can handle it like we handled the meetings with Stephanie and regional planning a couple of years ago, and put a few people in front of them that are less than a quorum, so that we can have the meeting and then convey the content of the meeting to the rest of the council members and the community in the next meeting. I would like to take him up on that, because there are some aspects of the Agua Dulce project that Mike Garcia was working on, and those haven't abated in the course of the last 12 to 18 months. So to the extent that we can engage him to get some help on some of these issues, my vote would be that we try and take him up on that.
Okay.
Okay, Chris, how about if we say that you and Don and I will meet with him? That's less than a quorum.
Uh-huh.
And then between the three of us, we'll work out a schedule time.
Sure, I'd be happy to do that.
Okay. Don, is that okay with you?
Yeah, I'm going to be out of town from the 17th to the 27th of January. So we can do it either the last week of January, or looks like the first week in February. One of those two will work out good. But
Okay.
everybody can check their schedule, or if there's a replacement for me, that's fine too. All right?
Okay, we'll see what his schedule looks like and go from there.
Sounds good to me. All right. Next up, we have report from the Santa Clara River Watershed Area Steering Committee, Measure W Watershed Coordinator, Amanda, if she's here with us. And if she's not, Heather might be here. So now's the time to hear from either Heather or Amanda, if you're out there.
At the last Watershed Steering Committee meeting, I chatted with Amanda, and she was quite happy with the late response that she got on the grant for hauled water for the people in Acton and Agua Dulce. And I had done a pretty big push on social media with good links on how to fill out that form. So she was happy, but she thinks everybody who submitted and they can verify the information, she thinks everybody will get reimbursement, and there may be additional money left for potential additional storage tanks for water.
Yeah, so it's big. Yeah. It's not $200 or $300 or $700 if you live in Maui. I mean, it's upwards of $2,000, as I recall. And a storage tank today can be a couple bucks a gallon. So I don't know how big of a tank, but hey, it's worth looking into. Especially if someone else is going to pick up the tab.
Absolutely.
So we do have rural water supply reliability program. I think that's kind of what that whole program was on, which you could fill it out. That had to be filled out by the end of December, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, December 31st. So the next Santa Clara River Watershed Steering Committee meeting is going to be held February 20th from 1 to 3 if anybody would like to attend. And if they want more information, they can go to the website that's listed there on our agenda. And we also have the free drinking water well assessment program that's going on currently. And
yes, Chris talked about that and put that link in the chat last month or in November. So I just wanted to put that on for anybody who is looking for it.
Thanks, Mary.
Okay. So that concludes our agency reports. Moves us right on to old business. which the first topic there is the RTG Investments Agua State Residential Project, also known as TT 50385. And I believe Chris has something to share with us tonight. Chris?
Yeah, there was just a couple of small things. The first is that I followed up with the Department of Regional Planning. You may remember in the middle of last year, we discovered this pressure zone adjacent to the project that's intended to support all this additional retail and school and goodness knows what else, and asked them for any discussions they'd had for improvements on that particular parcel, and they never replied. So just before the holidays, I popped another email into them and said, hey, we're still here. We'd still like a reply. And I got one today. So I should be able to unpick, there's about 30 pages of disclosures and a map, but I'll unpick that and try and report back at the next meeting. The other thing that happened was that I was thumbing through the various agendas of the Los Angeles Regional Water Quality Control Board, really trying to understand what was going on with this settlement offer that we talked about around about the same time for $320,000 and change that the Water Board had issued to RTG because of various infractions that they hadn't fixed over the course of the winter of 2022-23 and 23-24. I couldn't find anything, so I just popped a public records request in and said, can I have what you have? And they sent me a copy of the settlement itself. And the one of the lawyers who's working on that project at the State Water Board called me up just to really clarify what we want, and confirmed at that time that this particular settlement hasn't been taken up by RTG. So, I'm sure there'll be more to follow, because I don't think the Water Board is going to give up on this. And I did read the settlement offer, and it basically says, look, you've committed these infractions and the extent of your liability is up to $7 million, which is pretty scary considering they only paid $6 million for the entire project back in 2018. But if you pay this settlement, we will not pursue you. If you don't pay this settlement, then the state attorney's office will pursue you. So they're going to get into a whole different level of legal conflict if they carry on down the path of not settling this. So that's the latest. And as I understand more about these situations and get a bit more information from regional planning and from the State Water Board, I'll report back with a more formal presentation. But 2025 has started off in very much the same way as 2024 ended with this project.
Chris, do you know if there's any action going on over there?
In terms of construction work?
Yes.
Yes, there is. There is, I think, a bulldozer or an excavator at the very top of the project where the water tank is to be sited that has managed to scrape off a ledge, and there's probably about 30 feet of vertical dirt to its right, which should, do really well in an earthquake. But there is still work going on the site. And there are still disputes, obviously, between people who've contributed to the project and the developer over payments. The one thing that I did do, the lawyer who called me from the State Water Board, essentially, I explained that our concern had, a number of our community members have brought these issues to our attention, and I cited the letter that we'd received from the geologist, because obviously that raises some very important issues about the ability of the site to support septic tank percolation, and also just generally how the grading is being haphazardly put together by people who don't seem to know what they're doing. And I did share a copy of that letter with him, because obviously it's a public document, and said, look, this is really what's driving our interest. We're not just a bunch of conspiracy theory crazy people. You know, these are people who've worked on the project with the right credentials, who know what they're talking about. And this is why we're tracking this so carefully, because we're concerned with what might happen if it goes down a particular path and can't be fixed at some point in the future. So I did share that with the attorney, and I expect to hear back from them. They've got to figure out what of the exchanges they've had through this settlement process that they can actually release to us, which aren't considered attorney-client privilege.
Great. Okay. Well, we look forward to hearing from you in the future on that. Next up, we also have a report, possibly, from the Agua Dulce Neighbors group. If anybody's here that's representing that group, now's the time to hear.
I got a quick email from Marcy, and she said that they had nothing to report.
Okay, good enough. All right. So, President's report. This is the new year, 2025, and our format is going to be virtually or through Zoom. And obviously the power outage and wind situation and fires is kind of messed up tonight's meeting, but hopefully everybody had a Merry Christmas and a wonderful New Year. And we're looking forward to kicking off 2025 with great participation. We also have made the decision that we'll continue the virtual meetings and have an in-person hybrid meeting twice a year. Virtual meetings will be in January, such as tonight, February, March, May, June, July, October, and November. The in-person hybrid meeting will be April and September. And the location of the in-person meeting will be the Agua Dulce Women's Club, which is on Agua Dulce Canyon Road. Okay? December will be our in-person only meeting for the installation of new members and the election of officers. August is dark, as always has been, for summer break. Based on the public participation, we may revisit and amend the schedule and format. So we'll have to see how this next year goes. But so far, it seems to be working good, even though Mary had to go all the way over to Oxnard to have power and internet connection. We appreciate that effort. Incoming correspondence for action. We have the outdoor dining ordinance. I don't know a whole lot about the outdoor dining ordinance, but has anybody done a little in-depth study on that to find out more about it? If not,
I haven't done any research. Well, I did a quick, I looked at the frequently asked questions, and I kind of figured that if the restaurants in town were looking for outdoor dining regulations, that they would be here to weigh in on this.
Yeah, and I don't believe that's the case. So, all right. So
I think it's the throwback to the COVID situation, where a lot of people obviously dined outside, and that has been, dining al fresco has become quite popular. And I think LA County is just trying to formalize that with their Title 22 changes. So.
Yeah, but they just can't do it simply. They put a whole lot of requirements in it.
Requirements and fees.
Requirements and fees, yeah.
Well, I don't know if I don't know if it's going to affect us, except for when we go to dine at the different one of three restaurants. And it's like, I agree, if they had an issue or concern, then I haven't been made aware of it. So anyway, we will go on to the next. There's also a public hearing community meetings workshop for amendment to the general plan safety element. County documents. Going to held January 5th on Hall of Records or Hall of Administration. which is down in LA on Temple Street. So anybody would like to go, there's the time and the date and the address.
I actually find this laughable because we raised exactly this issue about the Adtc residential project and explained that if you build phase 1 without phase 2, you don't have 2 exits. And as you know, the head of regional planning said, well, it doesn't matter. So, it's just lipstick on a pig, to be honest.
Yeah, and I based on seeing the evacuation at the Pacific Palisades over at Eaton Canyon, one access in and one access out is ridiculous for any county agency to approve that. I'm just putting it out there. It's so timely because I know people who lost homes because their street was blocked. Nobody could get in. The fire department couldn't get in, and their house just burned to the ground.
Yeah.
Right, because people were leaving their cars there and running for their lives, and they had to come in with bulldozers to remove the cars.
Well,
The fire trucks to get in.
I think the point is you get 3 or 4 vehicles that get stopped in the road for whatever reason. I heard that some of them, they stopped and left their car to go take
That's what they did. Yeah.
photographs of the fire. So,
Oh, well, that's horrible.
and I'm thinking how blessed we are out here in Agua Dulce to have open space where most of us can fit, we can get in and out a couple different ways rather than just one. And it's not building on top of building.
Right.
My concern is we're having cancellations left and right on fire insurance. And if you've got 1,000 homes that are quote unquote track homes, so to speak, they're in, if you look at the mapping of that particular area, Pacific Palisades, I can't imagine that they call that fire, the VH, the same code that we are. Okay. And yet once it gets into that area, and those houses have to be worth $1 million plus each. So you're talking better than upwards of $1 billion worth of real estate that went up in flames. And, it's just totally different here in Agua Dulce with the amount of brush clearance that we have and whatnot. It just seems to me like there needs to be another way for them to rate certain fire prone areas. And to me, it seems like the insurance ought to be adjusted, but that's me. So we'll save that for another day. We do have some regional plans that filed. A lot of it to do with certificate of compliance, which is requirement for building a new home. We have some COC applications, and it looks like they want an extension, 5-year extension on existing IMP. I don't know what that means, but
I think that is CMEX.
Mining
project. Soledad.
Okay, yeah, 12,101 Soledad Canyon Road.
Yeah, I'm not sure what IMP means, but I'm pretty sure that is CMEX. But
something to do with mining project.
Yeah, probably.
Possibly. And the revision permit that was pulled, and also in Yucca Hills, health department review for electric plant solar panels for a single family residence. So they're all listed right here if anybody's concerned about any of them. We do have 33779 Steel Avenue, which is for the health department to approve a well site, which that's exciting. So, and also some other items here that have to do with legalizing construction. Anyway, that sounds like it's kind of a play on words. But at this point, we're at the open forum portion of our meeting. Anybody who would like to share something with the group that's here, we're going to give them 3 minutes tonight to go ahead and share their thoughts or what they think is important for the community to hear. And if no one wants to take advantage of that, we're going to move right on to the report regarding the high-speed rail from anyone who's associated with a high-speed rail. No report there. Committee reports. Election committee chair, we are still looking for someone, so let's give that some thought. Hopefully someone will step forward and pick that up. We need to fill the election committee chair vacancy. And we're also going to need to hold a special election, which won't be put on by the chair, but it will be put on by the committee. We're also looking, as we mentioned, for Catherine picked up and took the,
yeah.
I'm going to put her name, and then we're looking forward to get her report for next month. Parks and Trails, Mary Johnston. Anything to report?
Not really. I'm still working on trying to work with the equestrians and the superintendent over at Vasquez Rocks for community engagement on the equestrian use.
We'll
get there.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Water stewardship. Man, we are hurting for rainfall. There's no two ways about it. I have heard a couple encouraging things where wells still seem to be making some pretty decent water, which is kind of good. Don't know where it comes from, but it's sure great to have. Ways and Means report from Scott Keller, not here tonight. Disaster planning from Gary and Chris.
Go ahead, Chris.
Go after you, Gary.
Okay. I sent a flyer to Mary with kind of a summary of the upcoming tech class that we're going to be having at the library.
Right.
The class is going to cover 5 weeks with follow-up of a test at the end of that period of time. So it should be, the dates are shown on the flyer, I believe, and there's additional information that can be obtained if the flyer is put on net or it is shown in some other way. There is a QR code that you can scan on that will take you directly to the Acton Agua Dulce Amateur Radio Club website with detailed information on that.
Would you like to add anything to that, Chris?
Yeah, so as we discussed at the top of the meeting, the cert class for graduating the most recent group is actually rescheduled to January 14th, not January 7th, as it says here in the report. And if I could just talk to your previous discussion about water, Don.
Yes.
As part of the sort of disaster planning, I follow a weather forecaster called Southern California weatherforce.com.
Yes.
And he's interesting because in the last year, 23-24, everybody was telling, NOAA, National Weather Service, and all the weather forecasters were saying it was going to be a La Nina year. And he disagreed and said, no, we're going to get an awful lot of rain this year. And that's exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. He did a very good job of forecasting where the winds were going to be and showed in his wind maps, this corridor, which we haven't seen a loss of power in. And his view is that this low pressure system that slid all the way down past California and then down the coast of Baja, Mexico, has gone so far down that the next Pacific low pressure systems that come in from the Gulf of Alaska will actually make it to Southern California. So he's anticipating that we'll start to see meaningful rain around the 3rd week of January.
Oh, wow. This year?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, we look forward to that, because we definitely can use it. I mean, right now it's been 10 or 11 months since we've seen any measurable rain at all. So, and you can tell that, just look at the water trucks that are going down the road, and weather temperature wise, it's kind of springtime weather. And so obviously people haven't cut back on their water usage. And I'm sure the animals are probably using as much water as they did last spring. So
Yeah, our wells, production wells for our water system here in Sleepy Valley are 14 feet below slab, so they're in very good shape.
huh, that's wonderful. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. All right. So speaking of animals, we have the Department of Animal Care and Control dog adoption. That's held currently January 1st through the 31st. Dog adoption fees have been waived for all dogs from January 1st to January 31st. This includes adoption, spay, neuter, and microchip services, which is incredible, but you do still have to pay for the license and the trust fees. Amnesty period for pet licensing. The Department of Animal Care and Control will waive all late penalties and field enforcement fees for pet owners purchasing or renewing pet licenses until February the 28th. For more information, you can go on to the website there. Again, we mentioned the household hazardous waste collection and also the holiday tree, also known as Christmas tree disposal. Our next Ogden Town Council meeting is going to be held the second Wednesday in February, which looks to me like it's going to be February 12th. And the meeting will be held virtually, just like tonight. The next Santa Clara River Watershed Area Steering Committee meeting is going to be February 20th. And again, that's going to be at the Santa Clarita City Hall down there in Santa Clarita. So if you want any more information on either of these items, you can find them on our agenda, on our website. The Association of Rural Town Council meeting is going to be held January 29th, 7 o'clock. And of course, it's going to be held via Zoom. So future agenda items, I'm showing Spectrum is going to give us a talk next month. Hopefully we'll find out what that's all about. And other than that, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting, and we'll go on our merry way.
I'll make a motion because I'm about to lose power completely with this phone.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, second from Cliff. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? This meeting is officially adjourned.